All right, y'all. So, where's a chipmunk? So this is day two. Day two of filming for the Transparency short film. And honestly, yesterday I didn't really record much of like what was going on or how my day went. And honestly, it was because many different reasons. Going through just the motions of encountering things that I am, learning through, things that I am developing, trying to get over my fears. It's more of a case that I have to find a healthy balance. I have to constantly remind myself that I'm not a robot. And I journaled about this earlier, and I also realized that there's a lot more of kind of like dopamine detoxing that I'm having to do, because it's just a lot. So basically, when someone goes through the motions of developing certain habits that help them in certain parts of their lives, there comes a time when those things don't necessarily work anymore, and they don't provide the same feeling and the same, I guess, peace or, pleasure or whatever it is that those things used to bring in the past. And a very important thing right now is working on not only dopamine detoxing, which is a whole extensive process that you really have to be very patient with yourself with, and continue to just implicate in your day-to-day life, because it's important for growth. It's vital for growth. It's vital for, if you want change, you have to be the change that you want to see. So in this whole process, I've been learning that things are not going to be very easy. Like doing this whole creative process, doing the art, putting myself out there is going to be emotionally and energetically tasking. Like, it's going to take some work before it really gets better. And the number one thing that is very important with this process is that you have to really ask yourself and get serious. If I never received any sort of reassurance, if I never received any sort of congratulations or applause or attention, or even if I don't get any interactions from making this film, doesn't mean that I'm going to stop. Doesn't mean that that's going to be the end. Something that I have to always remember is that being myself and making art is not for anybody else other than myself, for my inner child healing, for my future, most importantly, that I'm setting myself up to have long-term goals, and with that takes time. I'm gonna set y'all up here. But it takes time. It takes patience. It takes breathing. It takes, going through things day by day. Because nothing really is going to be solved or figured out right away or on day one. Maybe not even week one. Maybe not even week two. But that doesn't mean that I stop. Because once I stop is when I've given up on committing to myself. And it is vital right now, especially because of the situation that I'm in, that I don't stop, that I don't give up on myself, that I don't give up on my gifts or give up on my dreams, because this is going to be a lifelong journey. And over time, it will get easier, doing my art, being creative, witnessing and experiencing rejection, experiencing setbacks, experiencing obstacles. That's never really going to stop. And that's part of the biggest reason why people stop so early in their journey and give up on their dreams, because of the fact that you have to rewire the way that you think about pain. Because pain is not an enemy. Pain is not something that should be against you. Pain is actually there to protect you from things that you used to struggle with in the past. And I'm sorry if the wind is making it hard to hear. I'm trying to speak loud enough, but understand that this whole process with pain is a long one. It is a journey. It is a creative process, because as much as you are staying committed to yourself and what you want to do in this life, for your dreams, you have to stay committed. You have to endure pain on a daily basis. And this is where the rewiring of your brain starts. The rewiring of your brain, the rewiring of your thought processes, of just observing the way that you interact with yourself on a day-to-day basis, the way that you interact with pain, the way you interact with certain habits, certain decisions that you make. Are you living the life that future you would be living? Are you going through the routine that future you would be living? And whether or not that's like something accurate for you, that is what's most important, to just kind of remember, kind of think about, kind of really like hone in on what exactly that routine is, and just do it. And you don't have to figure out what that routine is and implicate every single thing that future you wants on day one, but you do have to do something every single day. Something that is working towards your future every single day. Something that is working towards just healing the habits that you do, making healthier habits, making your life healthier, creating a life where if nothing else was in this world, if you had nothing else, you were the only person and you just had you, yourself, and yourself, would you be happy? Would you be at peace? Would you be stable? Would you be confident? Would you be innovative, creative? That's what's important. And so, with that, it hasn't been very easy at all. I'm just honest, it's not easy at all. It's painful. My inner child came out a lot yesterday after I decided to go to this little park, and I set down my picnic blanket and I had my speaker, and I wanted to have a goal to finish a painting. And the painting isn't exactly finished yet because the bugs at this park was just crazy. And I also had gotten like upset after, this conversation that I had about just something that is not really pertinent to my life or this situation. And I just needed to just use that energy in a way other than just being upset. So I danced, and I was able to scratch off one of the things on my list was to dance full out in public. Just dance whatever I felt, whatever I wanted to do with my body, I just did it. And it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was very fun. It was very fulfilling. And I really needed that. But then there was a moment where I think it was overstimulated. There was a lot going on with the sun being so hot. I was, not drinking enough water. And the bugs, I'm really like thingy about bugs, and the bugs were just like trying to get on me and running in my face. There was like a whole like swarm of these midges things, whatever the fucks, in front of me, and I was just like, bro, y'all are just ruining the fucking show. And so after that, I went to go sit down, I ate my sandwich, and then I was just like, I kind of had a headache. I kind of was just like kind of irritated, and I was very tired. And I think what happened at that moment was more so me just feeling burnt out and me feeling overwhelmed. And so I decided I ended up going home. I was trying to finish the rest of the painting when I sat down, but not gonna lie, I'm a human being and I got susceptible to a distraction. There's some kids playing over there, they're really cute, but so I was just basically susceptible to a distraction, and I ended up going home. I took a shower, got myself together, and my brain was like immediately on just like, oh my gosh, go, like we didn't finish this, we need to do something, we need to work, we're not doing enough. And then I ended up doing scrolling, and I was getting in my head, and that was that. I kind of went in a spiral from there. And I also need to understand that these moments are going to happen too, where I'm gonna feel tempted to work, or tempted to do something, or tempted to like just feel that pressure, like not being able to really enjoy life because I'm too worried about whether or not I'm gonna make money, too worried whether or not I'm going to have a place to live in the next few months, too worried about just a lot of things that I don't have the questions or the answers to right now. And I did not need to be worried about that, because that is taking me out of the energy of having that knowing, having that trust in the universe, having that trust in source, and as well as in the energy of knowing that I'm going to be taken care of regardless of what happens, as long as I'm staying focused on what I need to be doing. And what I need to be doing is taking care of myself, resting properly, properly taking care of my body, tending to my needs, paying attention to my triggers, paying attention to when I get overwhelmed, just keeping note of all of those things at once, and not worrying about the answers, not worrying about the hows or the whys. And it's extremely difficult. Like, this is something that I'm still working through myself, but it's extremely difficult to not, be susceptible to thinking about things like that. But at the end of the day, just worrying about those things and ruminating on it and being stressed out and overthinking, all that is going to do is just it's going to take you away from the present. It's going to send a signal to the universe that you are not ready, that you're not capable, that you're not, in the energy of, oh, I got this, I don't need to worry, I'm trusting, I can surrender, I can rest, I can let myself be, I can just flow, I can do whatever I want to do that comes to mind, that whatever it is that I desire, whatever it is that I dream of, I can make it happen, because I want to, because it is, because I am, because it already has happened. Not, oh, I need to capitalize off of this, or I'm not getting this many views, or I'm not getting this many likes, or I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, blah, blah, blah. Like, no. Now we're in the energy of being someone that is taking life for granted. Someone that's taking the blessings that they have right now for granted. I took blessings for granted, to be honest. And with this, there's also conversations that have to be had. There's also spaces that I have to be in that I have to prepare myself for, because it's important for me to move into my next phase of my life knowing that I have this X, Y, and Z thing accomplished or finished, or at least just knowing that it's important. It's important to do, it's important to have, it's important to get over, because a lot of us have to get over ourselves if we want to experience the fruits of life. We have to get over ourselves, get over everything else that's outside of us that we cannot control, everything that's outside of us that we cannot do anything about. We just have to deal with it. And over time and in divine timing, the universe will give us things that are necessary, or give us what we need. And what we need is not always what we want, or what we it's not going to look how we want it to all the time. So with that comes frustration, it comes doubt, it comes the overthinking, the rumination of like, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I'm never going to get to where I want to be, I'm going to be stuck here forever, I'm going to be doing this forever. And no, you're not. You're not. As long as you're doing what you have to do, taking responsibility of your life and not being on the sidelines of your own shit, then nothing else should be important. Nothing else matters. Everything else will come in divine timing when the divine is ready to give it to you, because they know and they feel that you're ready, because you know and feel that you're ready for it yourself, because you've been practicing. This is a lot of practicing that's going on right now. A lot of, taking care of business, locking in. This is going to be, not only so much working in the masculine, but also balancing your feminine energies as well, of being soft, being like receiving, being vulnerable, being an emotional, expressing that, being creative, being open and susceptible to change. And then the masculine energies is really calling on the call to action, the call to just be logical, to just really understand, okay, if I do this, this, and that, am I going to get this desired result? And if that is full of doubt, full of discouragement, full of, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not deserving of this and that, then that's giving the universe the signal that you're not. And that is, just moving and acting out of a space of not believing in yourself, not being confident. So the logical part of it all is just really looking into, okay, well, if I put myself out there, if I try, if I be myself, if I continue to do what I have to do, then the universe is going to get the signal and being like, okay, I see that you're ready. I see that you're making moves, you're putting action, you're being. And discipline is a really hard word for me, not gonna lie. Discipline for me always was a negative thing, but I guess in a way it's better to say committed. Being committed to yourself, being committed to your life. And when the universe sees that you're being committed to something, to yourself, then the universe is going to provide help in one way or another. But it's going to be the help that is what you need, and it's going to make sense for your situation and for where you're at in your life. The universe is not going to give you help or anything that is, outside of that. Because at the end of the day, everybody has their own personalized experiences, they have their own personalized path, and yada yada. So, tying it back to myself, it's been difficult, not gonna lie. It's not easy. But I know that it will get easier as long as I practice and I keep going and I don't give up on myself and I don't give up on doing what I'm doing literally right now. Like, I'm doing the right thing. And I need to tell myself that every single day, that I am doing the right thing, I'm in the right place, and I'm going to be okay. Because I am. I truly am. And so, with that, I'm going to work on a little bit more of this short film that I have for the rest of my day, and then I am going to just take care of myself. Take care of some things that I would like to do, that I want to do, that have been in my mind, and I'm kind of just like, oh, this is intimidating, and I'm just like, ugh, oof. But shoot, it's better than having to work a stupid ass job. So I'm gonna do it anyways, and I'm gonna be okay, because when I'm actually doing it, when I'm doing this stuff, when I'm doing the art, I'm happy. I'm at peace. I feel creative. I feel confident. I feel like I'm flowing because I'm putting action to the things that I said that I would do. And that's what's important. To be proud of yourself and not expect or desire or want anyone else to tell you those things before you tell yourself that. And that's what's important. So I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video or the next phase of this. Until, in the meantime, between time, I'll see y'all later. All right. Bye.